This week's scenario is the Pit 2 from the Steamroller packet. This scenario does have the Killbox Artifice in effect, and consists of one circular zone which can be controlled by warrior units, warcasters, and warlocks, two rectangular zones which can be controlled by warjacks, warbeasts, battle engines, warcasters, and warlocks, and then objectives which can be destroyed for 1 CP. Victory conditions consist of earning 5 more control points than your opponent, or caster assassination.
Hello, this is Iron Lich W, and this week I decided to bring out a Rask list in the Blindwater Congregation theme. The list includes a Wrastler for Rage, 2 Swamp Horrors because they're cool, a couple units of Gatorman Posse, as well as a couple min units of Ambushers just for the fun of coming off the table edge, as well as some solos to add some flavor to the list. One thing I looked right out the gate is got a forest in the middle, which is pretty good. It's not an obstruction, so I'm happy about that.
Alright, Pokey here, and I'm playing a list that most of you have already seen before. It's my Makeda1 with the Desert Hydra. Figured with the CID giving some new hope to the Desert Hydra, I figured I'd go ahead and take it out one last time under its old rules, just to see how it plays in the newer format of 2018. And yeah, this is a pretty straightforward list. You guys have all seen it before. I'm kind of playing it similar to how I played it before, which is everything lines up. The Croak Raiders kind of go up front to work as a screening unit, hopefully inflict a little bit of pain in the beginning, and let's see how it all works out.
Minions turn 1. So right off the bat, I decide I wanted to take on that Hydra. I want to destroy it, I want to make my opponent pick it up, and then I'm going to wake up from this dream because I rarely take out Colossals. So, start off by doing some basics. Go lead with the Gatorman Posse because they're actually supposed to do work in this list. They dirge or miss and run. Then put all my beasts in the middle. Because the terrain piece in the middle is a force as opposed to an obstruction, it's easier for me to get through. And it doesn't hide that Colossal over there. Or not Colossal, but Gargantuan. So after I load up the middle of all my beasts, trying to keep them safe, but well within sight distance of that Gargantuan that I can't hide anywhere on the board. Gonna move all my other minions up, all the Posse units. Trying to figure out how I'm going to continue the turn. Once my computer starts stops skipping on me. Alright, Kwaak's gonna put Enliven on a couple of the beasts. But the big thing for me is what to do with Rask out the gate. So once I, put Ghost Walk on him from the Witch Doctor, Rask is gonna throw out ammunition onto the Wrastler because I cannot lose him. Otherwise I won't be able to stack Rage and Fury, which is what I like to do. And then he's gonna throw out the Cloud. I know a lot of times I have a tendency to pop feet really early with Rask, but given that I got to go first, my opponent wasn't in the most threatening position, so I decided to wait until second turn. And then that is it. Set up my Cloud, finish moving, I am done.
Alright, turn 1. Well, Iron Lich was a little aggressive, or I thought a little aggressive on his advance. But that's okay. Let's get the thing mixed up. Get in the mix quick as possible. So now, the Gators, they do have their prayers that allow them to move faster against living models and all this other happy stuff. And I also know that Iron Lich also has 2 units of the Bog Trog ambushers that I don't want to get too close to the edge for. So, first part of what I'm going to have to do in this is advance forward those Croak Raiders so I can try to get some shots off, and plus they can help screen the rest of my army as I move up close behind them. I'm fairly certain that Iron Lich is going to pop his feet next turn, so anything that's beyond the 5 inches won't be able to charge anything or attack anything else. So I got to get pretty far forward to hopefully either A, be within 5 inches, or B, get in a good position where I can weather his feet and get through the turn. So as you can see right now, I was able to get the Croak Raiders close enough that I could get a guy to get 3 of the Croak Raiders to shoot his lead Gator. The first one with the gourd actually missed. The second one with the gourd missed, but not enough that it didn't still coat the guy with some oil. And then the third guy with his actual flaming dart managed to hit. And with the boosted damage, I was able to inflict, I want to say, almost enough to kill him. So, good on them. I'm hoping that the fire does its damage to that guy and takes him out at the beginning of next turn. Worst case, he'll be knocked down or something. If he has tough. I don't know if he has tough. So... Now, the Gladiator activated. He put Rush up on the Hydra. Well, because, who doesn't like a Speed 7 Hydra? Or a Movement 7 Hydra. And then he just advanced forward. In this list, the Gladiator is kind of a rush bot slash second line, heavy hitter. So, that's why he is... I didn't try to have him slam or anything else. I just wanted to keep him back for potential later game abilities. Activated Makeda. She ended up putting Quicken on the Hydra, mostly because I wanted the +2 speed. Iron Lich doesn't have a whole bunch of shooting, so I don't really need that so much in the list. But where I don't need that benefit, so that's kind of a moot point there. But I did want to be able to get the Hydra up without having to spend too much in the way of movement, like running. So, as you saw, Molik Karn advanced, the Agonizer and the Krea all advanced. The Krea put up its aura, the Agonizer put up its gnawing pain, because I figure it's going to be close enough for those Gators when they charge in that, it probably won't keep the those guys alive, but who knows? Dice rolls being what they could be. And then everything advances. Beast handlers do their business of upkeeps, and that's it.
Minions turn 2. So, I've decided off the bat, I want to throw a couple Posse members into those Croak units to tie them up, and just to be a general nuisance. Can't have little toads running around throwing fire darts and lighting my stuff on fire. It's not appreciated. But before I do all that, it's time to ambush. Turn 2, I'm bringing on one of the units of ambushers. And I'm bringing them onto my left flank. What these little guys are going to do is, other than be a general nuisance, is to try and pick off some of those Paingivers. And with a little luck, distract the attention of something that is worth more points than that min unit. Now once the ambushers are kind of set up, go back to worrying what I'm going to do about all the Croak Raiders. Because I have Croak Raiders myself, I have a general idea of how they want to be used, but each person uses them differently. So while I kind of mull over my options, I just run all my yellow unit of ambushers into place, making sure they still stay well behind the Hydra, which I'm told it doesn't matter because it has 360-degree arc. But just to make sure, let's use this handy-dandy app called the War Room to make sure. Well, anyhow, oh, I thought I had 360. Well, yeah, going forward still, I went ahead and put balance charge onto one of the Gator units, or a model from the Gator unit, and just ready to rock and roll and send the guy in there. So, now, with my caster, he's there to facilitate easier movement of the army. So he throws on Fury, because I'm going to send a Gator into a Gargantuan just because it sounds like a cool idea. And then I'm going to send that second one into the Croak unit. And then, of course, I'm going to pop Feet because I don't want my opponent charging me. And if I wait one more turn, it's going to be too late. My opponent will be too close to my army. So, I go ahead and send the Posse on the left flank into the Croaks. Although, if I've been thinking, I probably should have charged the Hydra instead. But, no, there's no buts. I should charge the Hydra. So, no, the Gator's Prey offerings a cost to let them reroll missed hit rolls. And surprisingly, I still do a fair amount of damage on the Desert Hydra with the second attack. I do like 8 points off dice -3 because of Fury. And I end up taking 2 Croaks off the board. I'm willing to sacrifice 2 units of that Gatorman Posse unit to try and mess with my opponent while trying to keep the rest of them back and safe under Rask's feet. So, not wanting to commit any of my beasts, I go ahead and just inch him up to the zone, keeping ammunition on the Wrastler, because it's my only source of rage. And if I don't get to stack rage with Fury, I feel like I've wasted this game. So on the right flank, I go ahead and send in the Gatorman Posse. Or at least one of them. Because my opponent managed to knock down one, he didn't get the charge, so he just walked out of the way. So the second guy could charge, and the other 3 can run less aggressively. So I'm fine sacrificing just that one dude. And putting a weak one out where, I mean, I don't need him.
I lost a couple of the ambushers, raiders, like I thought I would. He did pop his feet, like I thought he would. What kind of was a shock to me is he only brought in 1 unit of the ambushers. I thought for sure he was going to bring in a secondary unit, but he only brought in the 1. So that was kind of a little bit of a surprise for me. I did end up upkeeping Quicken on the Hydra, and the one Gator that I'd beat on a lot, he ended up taking enough damage. He had to roll a tough check, and he made the tough check, but he was knocked down, so that's why he didn't charge in as well, killing off more of the Croak Raiders. So now I have 3 Gators in my midst, and not a lot of clue at how to get rid of them and still be able to advance effectively. So I take the Beast Handlers, the minion of blue Beast Handlers you see, they come over, they advance, so they can enrage the Hydra, and then they're going to try to whip the ambushers, and I think by the time everything's all said and done, I think I end up hitting 1 and killing 1. I think I only get the 1. Dice being what dice are, you know, it happens. But then again, I needed like a 9 or something like that, because Beast Handlers are not meant to be in any kind of combat. So now the Desert Hydra goes, and I'm trying to position him to where I can get a front arc on the ambushers and still be within melee range of that one Gatorman. I managed to make that happen. So I ended up using concentrated blast from his acid spray to turn it into a 10-inch spray, and I end up putting the spray over three of the models, and I want to say by the time it's all said and done, I've actually taken out 2. Because, well, for whatever reason, the Hydra is better at killing models than the Beast Handlers. So yeah, so I end up dropping 2 of those guys, leaving the one guy corroded. And then I buy an attack on the one gator to my front arc. And basically between boosting it to hit... No, I didn't have to boost it to hit. I'm in his back arc now, so I didn't have to boost it to hit. But with Enrage up, he was like a power 20 on his bite. So, oh, and I also critted, so it gave grievous wounds. So no tough checks if he had it. So yeah, so I was able to do that, and that pretty much filled out the Hydra. So that end of the closer side of the table you see there, that's pretty much what I'm going to be able to do there. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to keep my Hydra alive from that Gatorman posse that's sitting across the zone from him. So it's going to be kind of a scary next turn. So I take the Gladiator. He puts up Rush on Molik Karn. I believe that's what he does. No, he doesn't put Rush up on Molik Karn. Because he just doesn't need it. So he just advances up so he can toe the zone. And the Agonizer moves forward. And it starts to do its ability of gnawing pain. So anything that does actually come in is going to be -2 to its strength. Then the Krea comes forward. And once again, another support piece. She does her ability of Force Aura. Which, if Rask decides he's going to come forward and try to shoot me, I get the +2 defense and arm against that, because I think that's mostly what his shooting is. Now I'm trying to figure out where to activate and put Makeda, so that way she'll be in a good spot for the next turn, because she only has a 12-inch control. Well, she has a 12-inch control range, not only, but she has a 12-inch control range. And I wanted to have my models benefit from Carnage. Probably should have started that portion first when I was dealing with the Hydra. That way I wouldn't have to have boosted. But, you know, sequencing of things, and I got ahead of myself. Should have done the center before the bottom edge of the screen. So she casts Carnage. She heals the Desert Hydra for a couple. And then... oh, what else does she put? She does something else. I forget what else she puts up, but she puts up something else. And so now Molik Karn is within 5 inches of that one Gator. I leave that one White Beast handler in base to base with him, and also give him Enrage for any other reason than because he can. And then because he's in base to base, he gets prodding, so he gets the charge for free. So Molik Karn has Enrage, and under the ability of Carnage, and is able to kill off the one Gator with his first swing, swinging on that other wounded Gator with his second swing. He is able to kill him. And then I get a secondary sidestep off of that one, because the nice thing about the bond with Makeda is he gets to have a sidestep with his initial attacks. So I buy an attack on the objective, and I actually managed to take it out with a single swing, which was really sweet. And then I activate his Animus, which is Fate Walker, and I have him move all the way back as far as I can to toe the zone. So right now that will give me at least one control point there. 2 actually, one for killing his objective, and then one for having the zone with the War Beast. Now it's a matter of trying to go into protective mode. I brought the Swarm up, the Gremlin Swarm. Typically I like to leave them in the corners because, well, unless you have magic, you can't really do too much about them. But those Gators are getting ready to come in, so I need to put those Gators somewhere where they're going to be able to... you know, I need to put the Swarm so the Gators can't get quite to the Hydra. Because he can Iron Lich can pump those guys up to a hefty damage output. So we need to make sure that there's something, you know, mitigating some of what they can get in and do. So now the Croak Raiders are taking the run charge order, and one ended up charging the Gator in the middle. There's already one engaged with the guy in the middle, and then the others ran to kind of work as roadblocks for the Gators. So rolled out the one who didn't charge first, and he didn't do anything. I want to say the guy who actually did charge, you know, being a POW 10 because of gang, still didn't do too much or anything, and then the others just kind of ran up to roadblocks. I think I did fairly well, and also holding my zone for a third control point.
Minions turn 3. Alright, so I found the rule in War Room for the Hydra. It's circular vision, which is not 360, so I just want to make that quick correction. Well, anyhow, before we get this party started, check my board edges. My opponent is being very cautious not to put everything next to the board edge. So I bring on the second unit of ambushes. I put them basically where the first unit was. Except they're going to get themselves some Hydra this time. Or at least that's the idea. I figure you're on a gaming unit, and I did some good damage to that Hydra with my free strike as well. I go nab myself a Hydra. My feet, I think, protected most of my army pretty well. I even kept one of my guys who ran out of the feet, or not out of my feet, but ran one of my guys way in advanced position. He's still alive. I consider that a victory. The first thing I do is I see my opponent has given me a Paingiver to charge. I stand next to his caster, and it's within range of one of the Swamp Horrors. So Squidly is going to get himself a Paingiver. I don't have high expectations that he'll actually do anything productive with Makeda. In fact, I'm thinking mostly about going after Molik Karn at the edge at this point. But I want to keep that in mind. Just because when you're down 3-0 on scenario points, it's generally not a very good sign. So as I'm trying to work out what to do, don't want to kill Hydra, don't want to kill Molik Karn, do I have the ability to do both? This caster assassination is still on the table, because let's face it, a Mat 6 squid against a Mat 15 Warlock. Yeah, it's not exactly a foregone conclusion. But before I can even do anything with Squidly, you gotta figure out how to free him up. Because although it's mostly a good charge lane, I need to move one of my own Gatorman out of the way, as well as one of my opponent's Croaks. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. First, I'm thinking about using the Witch Doctor to sacrifice a Gator to kill a Croak, to get him out of the way, to actually get them both out of the way. But as I'm doing the measurements, I come to the conclusion that that's not going to work. It's just outside an inch. So, I get the bright idea of running the Mist Speaker around, and I'm going to use him as a sacrificial target. And I'm thinking, man, I am doing good on solving problems, and I'm gonna free it up. However, after I pick up the model and announce that I intend to sacrifice him, I mean, this is all on the Witch Doctor's turn, slight discussion arises about the sacrificial action I'm doing. And apparently can't do it on the Mist Speaker because it specifies Trooper. So, because the Witch Doctor is still there, wasted the Mist Speaker's activation. That's alright. Quite alright. I just sacrifice a Gator instead. I'm sure this stunned my opponents, because because that's generally not the most intelligent move to do. But hey, guess solve problems with the tools you have. So I activate the Posse unit remaining. I move the newly promoted leader out of the way since he's not going to be able to do anything useful. And I move the other Gatorman Posse who was in the way out of Squidly's charge lane. And then I go ahead and attack the remaining Croak Raider that's on that side of the board. So at that point, before I forget, go ahead and put Balanced Charge through the Soul Slave onto Squidly. He's ready to go. He's got distance. Now I'm just working out in my head if I really want to do this. Because right now, a good shot at Molik Karn. Activate my caster, run up there, paralyze Molik Karn. And it'll be easy eating for Squidly. So, I mean, I'm real nervous at this point. Rask has got 6 focus, figuring, alright, that's a Fury, that's a Rage, and it's a Veil of Mist somewhere. Actually, I'm baiting on Veil of Mist. It's like, I may not want to do Veil of Mist. I may just want to try and shoot something. In order to cut down on decision making, I just go ahead and put Rage and Fury up on Squidly. At that point, kicking the can. Do I want to put Rage up on the Wrastler? And after kind of what seemed like forever, I just decided put down Veil of Mist. No, I'm gonna go after the caster because at this point I'm getting nervous that whether I'll be able to kill my opponent's the Desert Hydra. There we go. I'm doubting my ability to kill a Desert Hydra because I'm putting so much resources into the right side of the board. So I send in the Squid. Put down Veil Mist, send in the Squid. And about this time, Solus is standing next to me. He's like, control range? And I'm like, I am out of it. And my opponent's trying to give me a take back, but I made this error and I'm going to live with it. I may have not played the game as much as I used to, but I need to get back into the swing of things. So, hits the Paingiver. Takes the second tentacle on Makeda, rolls an 8 and misses her. I'm looking for 9s to hit, and I'll have them do this without boosting. Hits her with the third tentacle. Yes! I'm excited at this point, because I just rolled a hard 9. And this tentacle is POW 18, so it's rolling even dice on Makeda. But what made this even more important is that it's going to drag Makeda much closer. And at this point, the viability of the Squid actually killing Makeda is almost none because I can't boost. But it's really cool because on my hits on Makeda, I went 8, 9, 8. I need 9s. I got a pull with the tentacle. Now it's within range of the Wrastler doing something. The Wrastler cannot see Makeda, so he cannot charge her. So at this point, I'm working with tramples, but what was crucial about the pull is it pulled Makeda into a range to where if I throw elasticity on the Wrastler, he will be able to get within 2-inch reach while still being in Rask control range. And he will be able to actually buy some attacks on Makeda. So now I find the whole situation interesting, and Makeda was forced to transfer, or use her only transfer, when it was even dice from the Squid. So because I couldn't put up Rage or Fury on the Wrastler, his strongest attack is only POW 17, so it's dice -1, and I'm having to buy attacks after a trample, so that means I get 3 bot attacks I can't afford to boost. So once again, I'm needing hard 9s on Makeda. So Wrastler buys his first attack, rolls something ridiculously low, rolls a 6, misses it. Second attack hits. That's my 1. Puts Makeda down to 6 health. So at this point, last attack is like pure luck. I rolled the 9 that I needed, and then the damage, I rolled more than a 7, needing a 7 to kill her, and it was just straight luck at this point, because at this point I'm needing hard 9s just to hit. So it's above average dice to hit and above average to... Actually, I only need average dice to kill, but at this point the game is jacked. It's like, wow, a lot of adrenaline. It was a fun game, one that I know I should not have won, but that's the fun of playing it.
Alright, well, Iron Lich got me. Rask is a great caster. He has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. And unfortunately, believe it or not, that's a very similar caster run that Iron Lich pulled on me earlier in the week when I was actually playing Xerxes 2. He actually ended up charging the Krea next to Xerxes and used elasticity just to keep on beating on Xerxes. I thought I was actually safe where he was sitting, but not the case. But I thought this time, keeping my huge base model away, keeping my caster, more centrally located, kind of keeping well out of sight of things, would have really helped. Unfortunately, I did not think about where other targets that his squid could have taken, and he did a great job of seeing the opportunity and was able to take out the beast handler, which allowed him to then swing on my caster, pulling her in, and then letting the wrestler come up and finish off the job. It was a good game. Definitely would want to play it again, and hopefully next time it'll be after the CID drops, so I can use the new and improved Hydra. Thank you all for watching, and hope you enjoyed the game.